So we mix our soil in a kiddie pool. I would say unless you are going to be mixing, unless you need a lot of soil, like probably 6+ bags of soil from the store, which are usually 2 cubic feet each. So probably, unless you need like 12+ cubic feet of soil, it would probably just be more time and cost effective for you to go ahead and buy yours pre-mixed. And I would suggest Black Gold is the brand that I usually buy. You probably don't want to buy anything that's cheaper than about $12 a bag, or else you're going to get something that's not very high quality. So the ingredients here are peat moss, perlite, and vermiculite, and I do it about somewhere between 1/3 and 50% peat moss, and then about 25-33% vermiculite, 25-33%, perlite, 25-33% vermiculite. And then I get my husband to mix it, and it magically becomes uniform, and then I go ahead and use it. So the peat moss is gonna hold water and provide like most of your soil medium, and then the perlite is gonna aerate, and then the vermiculite is going to aerate and hold your nutrients. So you can skimp on them, but it's not super advisable. I have done that before because the vermiculite is kind of spendy. So I have decreased my vermiculite before and had more fungal infections, so it's worth it to go ahead and do a decent amount of the perlite and vermiculite. You could maybe just substitute the vermiculite for the perlite. We also do sanitize, so we use 10% bleach solution. We go ahead and spray down our tools and let them sit for a few minutes so that they're clean and sterile. Real important when you're doing seedlings especially, or cuttings, to make sure everything's nice and clean. We'll also go ahead and do that with the kiddie pool also, to make sure that it's as clean as possible. We'll wash it out and then go ahead and bleach it with that 10% solution. So I usually buy my, so this is my giant bag of perlite, and I get bags like that. They're 2 cubic feet perlite and vermiculite that I get from Home Depot, and then I get these 3 cubic foot compressed peat moss bags as well. And that's probably the most inexpensive way to get it, but I know that there are other suppliers for it as well. So that's kind of the skinny on it. Oh, something else that is very important. So this is the respirator that we use. This is all wet right now, so I'm not worried about particles being in the air. But when I pour these in, and then when we're mixing it, we wear a respirator, because perlite and vermiculite are both not good things for you to be breathing in, and they have, especially the perlite, has a very fine particle size. That's really easy to get the dust in the air and breathe it in. So very important to use. You can use, if you're just going to do it a few times, you can probably just use like a common, like one of those disposable guys, but this is a good investment if you're planning on doing it semi-regularly. So this is what the soil looks like when it's mixed. Hopefully all the way. Sometimes if you don't put it through a screen, you'll end up with some chunks of peat moss here and there, and maybe some sticks every once in a while, but I just kind of mix them in as I go, or take out the sticks as I go when I'm transplanting or potting. You can do, this is not like the only soil mix that you can do. This is just a seed starting mix that I do. I use it for seedlings and cuttings. People will add fertilizer, or you can buy soil that has fertilizer in it. If you're starting seedlings or doing cuttings, you don't really want fertilizer in there to start, because it tends to increase issues with fungal infections because it feeds the fungus, and the cuttings and the seeds don't need it right off the bat. Once your seedlings have their first set of true leaves, then you can start fertilizing, and once your cuttings have roots, you can start fertilizing. But otherwise, this is just kind of the standard stuff. If I'm doing desert species, a lot of times I'll add quite a bit of sand in there too, because you want a really well-drained soil medium for those guys. They do not like the peat moss to be this much of the mix. So that one I usually will do more like maybe like 1/4 to 1/5 of peat moss, and then kind of even parts of perlite, vermiculite, and sand for the other ones. So, but you can kind of play around with it. Different plants are going to like different things.